sees this deer, and then Marichi does the final big thing, that when he, you see deers, they kind of do twitching thing. So he does this twitching thing, and it's like this rainbow ripples through his body. He says, Ram, please, you've got to catch him so he can be a pet. Ram says, okay. But he says to Lakshman, you stay here and guard her. So Ram goes off, and the deer, woof, because he's a magician, he just disappears. And Ram's off after him, deep into the forest. Ram knows this is not an ordinary deer. Pulls out an arrow, boom, kills him. And as the deer is dying, he imitates Ram's voice. And he calls out, Lakshmana, help me! Lakshmana, help me! And then he dies. So Lakshmana and Sita hear this. And she turns and says to Lakshmana, go help him, go help him. And Lakshmana is like, no, I have to stand here. I have to stay here and look after you. She said, can you not hear your brother calling for you? And she starts crying. So he says, okay, I will make a magic circle around this hut. And he, with mantras, he makes a magic circle around the hut. And he said, stay inside that circle. Do not step out of that circle. And you will be protected in there. She said, yes, just go and help Ram. So he goes off. Ravana had been watching all this, and he had seen Sita. He said, she is the most beautiful woman, and he knows he has to own her. So he changes his appearance into that of a Brahmin, and he's got the clothes on of a Brahmin. So he comes up. She's there all anxious of her Ram, and he's about to cross over the circle, and he can't do it. He literally can't cross that, because that is there to protect from danger, and he's danger. So he steps back, and then he's calling out to her, oh, my dear, dear mother, I am so thirsty. Please, can I have some water? And she said, oh, yes. So she gets a jug of water that she had in the hut. She comes out, please, can you bring it to me? She goes, no, I cannot. He says, I'm so thirsty. Oh, Sita, she can't let this happen to a Brahmin. She steps out. And as soon as she comes up to him, he immediately changes back into his evil form, and he picks her up with one arm. And then he calls for his magical chariot that is pulled by donkeys. And the chariot comes down, and he takes her onto the chariot. He's going to fly up into the sky away and kidnapping her. And Sita she's screaming, Ram, Ram! In the meantime, in a tree very nearby was an old vulture. Very, very old, thousands of years old. But he was actually a devotee. And he had watched her get kidnapped. And even though he was very, very old, he flew up and he attacked Ravana. Ravana pulled out his sword and he sliced off his wings. And Jatayu, the vulture, fell to the ground. He knew he was going to die, but he thought, I have to do one last service for the Lord. I will stay alive no matter what in order to tell Ram what has happened. He lay there and waited for Ram to return. So Ram returns. Sita is not there. Ram starts calling out, Sita, Sita, Sita. Lakshman is calling out, Sita, Sita. She was no longer there, and then they find Jatayu. And Ram, they both kneel down, and he lifts up Jatayu onto his knee, and Jatayu tells him, Sita has been kidnapped by a great demon. Then he calls out, Ram, and dies. So Ram and Lakshmana, they spend their time looking, Sita, 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 where are you? And as they travel through endless forests looking for Sita, they come across a great army of monkeys. Now, what I'd forgotten to tell you was that when Lord Vishnu told the demigods that Krishna has a message, you demigods can come and be part of the pastimes, go down there to this planet, go down there to this kingdom of Kushala and take birth as warrior monkeys. So 10 million of them.
Whoa.
Who would say no? Who in this room would say no? So 10 million of them took birth as monkeys and they waited. And now here it is. It's happening. Lord Ram and Lakshman have come there. And so King Sugriva, he's saying, my entire army is at your disposal. We will find Sita. So he divides his army up into 4 parts for the 4 cardinal directions, and each one had a commander. And of course, Hanuman was one of the commanders, and he had the south. So north, east, west, the other commanders, and Hanuman had the south. So Hanuman takes his army and they head south. And when they're down there, they come across some sages who say, we saw the chariot fly by with Ravana. They identified who it was. And he took Sita to Lanka, his kingdom. So now they know where she is. So Hanuman comes back and says to Ram, we know where she is. She's on Lanka. So Lord Ram says to Hanuman, you go there first by yourself, and all the army we will follow. And he gives Hanuman his ring, and he said, when you find her, give her this ring, and she will know that you are from me. So Hanuman sets off and goes right down the south again, and across the ocean is Lanka. Now Hanuman had the mystical ability to be able to fly. So he takes one giant jump and he jumps off and he lands in Lanka. And when he's there, he starts looking everywhere. He goes into the city. He looks through all the palace rooms because he's assuming she's in the palace. He looks everywhere. He can't find Sita anywhere. Finally, he goes into this walled garden that's away from the palace. He looks down and there's this tree in the middle of it. And there's Sita sitting on the ground at the base of the tree, and she's surrounded by guards, demoness she-guards. She was missing Ram every moment she was away from him, and she's sitting there so sad, and all the demoness guards are asleep. Hanuman jumps up into the tree above her, climbs out onto the branch, gets the ring, drops it down. Sita looks. She sees the ring. She knows immediately that's Ram's ring. She picks it up and she's looking around. She's thinking, Ram has come. Ram has come here to save me. Hanuman jumps down in front of her and he tells her that Ram is coming. He's coming to rescue you. Just wait a little bit longer. So Sita now is, yes. And Hanuman even said to her, I can take you away now to Ram. And she said, no, he must come here and save me. So then she takes off her ring and gives it to Hanuman. Said, give this to Ram and he will know that you found me. So Hanuman's got the ring and he's going to return. He's got to get back as soon as possible to Ram, but he's a monkey. He wants to cause a little bit of mischief. So he makes himself small again and he goes into the city and he's jumping all around the place and people are complaining about him, and then the guards come out and he lets them catch him and they march him in, Ravana. And Ravana's sitting there on his throne. Who are you? Hanuman says to him, I am the devoted soldier of Ram who's coming here to kill you. Ravana looks at him. What? You think somebody can kill me? And you think an army of monkeys, and then Ravana roars with laughter. So then he says, tie up his tail with cloth, put oil on it, and set it on fire. And we'll see where this army of monkeys can do. So Hanuman's sitting there, and he's just like this big, with a little tail that big. So they get some cloth, but then he makes his tail a little bit longer. Oh, okay, more cloth. A bit more cloth. Then he makes his tail a bit longer. More cloth. And then he makes himself his tail really long. They had to get all the cloths they could find. They finally tie up all the cloth, then they pour oil all over it, and then on the end of it, they set it on fire and they laugh. Ha 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 ha! And then Hanuman makes himself very big, and then he escapes and he jumps, and with his tail on fire, he sets all the houses in Lanka on fire. The whole city is on fire. And then he goes to the ocean, he puts his tail in the ocean. His tail wasn't even burnt at all. And then he turns around and he's left all this destruction. The whole city is on fire. Then he jumps back and then he goes over and he tells Ram, and he gives him the ring. As soon as Ram saw Sita's ring, Ram went unconscious because he knew this was Sita's ring. Then when he regains consciousness, it says he organises the whole army. So they come to the ocean there, but you see, it was only Hanuman who could do that jump. The king of the monkeys, he could jump half that distance, and a lot of these other monkeys could jump a quarter of that distance, but nobody could do what Hanuman did. So Ram orders a bridge to be built, and this is a mystical bridge because the rocks floated on the top of the ocean. And then they marched over this bridge and they arrived in Lanka. 10 million monkeys. So when Ravana heard that they had all arrived, he was not worried at all, and he sent out his commanders to deal with them. The battle went on for 13 days, and back and forward, amazing pastimes going on. But at one point, Ravana, he was being defeated. He still hadn't gone out into the battle himself. He'd sent out all his top commanders, one after another, and they're all getting defeated. His last thing before he was going to go on out into battle was his brother, Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna, from the time he was born, he caused so much destruction because he loved to eat anything. He would eat elephants, he would eat monkeys, he would eat people, he would eat anything that was alive. That the demigods went to Lord Brahma and said, what are we going to do about him? So Brahma arranged that Kumbhakarna would sleep for 6 months at a time and wake up for just one day, and then go to sleep for 6 months at a time. So his destruction was limited to one day. So Kumbhakarna had just gone to sleep before Ram came, right? And it was impossible to wake him up. You had to wait till the 6 months were up. But Ravana was at a stage desperate now, and he wanted his brother woken up. So he sent a whole battalion of soldiers there. They had to do all sorts of things. Look, they're digging things into him. The elephants are trying to wake him up. They'd make loud noises in his ears. They're doing all kinds of things to wake him up. Finally, they get him to wake up. He is so angry because he's only been asleep a couple of weeks. He immediately eats the entire battalion, the elephants, everything, eats them all. And then Ravana comes there and he says to his brother, I had to wake you up, go kill Ram. Huge giant, he starts stomping out to the battlefield. And as he stomped out, he would kill anybody that was there below him. Killing, then picking up bodies, ripping off their heads and throwing them down, killing. So Ram's there on the battlefield, 1 arrow. 1 arrow from Ram. Kumbhakarna's done. So Ravana now he's used up everything. His son Satyajit, all his resources are gone. So now it's time for Ravana to go into battle. This is what they've been waiting for. Ram versus Ravana. Now the thing about Ravana was, yes, he had 10 heads, but you see, if you shot any of his heads off with any kind of weapon, they immediately grew again. Boom, 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 boom. That's why he was impossible to deal with, right? So he comes out into battle, and so Ram, he starts shooting off heads. Boom, 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 boom. Then they come pop up again. Boom, 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 boom. This is just magnificent to watch, right? So then Ram finally gets out an arrow that is like destruction itself, and he shoots the arrow at Ravana's heart. Immediately Ravana dies. So he has done what he said he would do. He has come and killed Ravana. He has just annihilated all of Ravana's army. So then he goes to that little courtyard, to that tree, and there's Sita sitting there. And when the two of them see each other for the first time in a year, it has taken a year to get to this point. And it's very, very beautiful descriptions of them. And guess what? That day was the end of the 14 years exile. So they then go back to Ayodhya, and all the residents hear that Ram is returning. The 14 years are up, and he's returning with Sita and Lakshman, and the whole place came alive. So happy to see him. And he was coronated, the king, and she's the queen. It's just the most wonderful celebration taking place. Still to this day, that's 2 million years ago, Ram returning. When he returned, all the people came out with lamps, and those lamps were representing that there was light back in their life now. That's what Ram represented to them. And they all brought out these lamps, and the whole of Ayodhya was beautiful, covered in these small little lamps. And so still to this day, that pastime is celebrated every year, called Diwali. That is what Diwali is actually about. Very, very wonderful. For the glorious and wonderful pastimes of Lord Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,